Chapter 1. On our anniversary, I went to pick up my wife from work, only to find her acting intimately with another man. Seeing me, her face immediately turned cold. "What are you doing here?" Before I could speak, she turned to the man beside her and explained, "Just a friend from work. Don't misunderstand." I remained silent for a moment, then handed her a document. "President Chin, please sign this agreement." Chin Yu's expression was unnatural. She took the pen I offered and signed her name on the paper. I reminded her, "Aren't you going to look at the clauses?" She waved her hand dismissively. "I don't trust you?" If she had looked closely, she would have realized it was a divorce agreement. But she didn't even glance at the contents before flipping to the last page to sign. Probably eager to go on a date with her first love, she couldn't be bothered. My hands trembled as I slowly put the divorce agreement away. She must have forgotten that today was our third wedding anniversary. A week ago, she promised to have dinner with me today. Although she had stood me up many times for her first love, I still held a sliver of hope, planning to give her one last chance. I had also prepared for both scenarios, either dinner with her or signing the divorce papers. Since she couldn't remember her promise to me, I made my decision instantly. Ever since her first love, Tian Chuan, returned from abroad, they had grown closer and closer. The thought of divorce had become increasingly stronger in my mind, and today I finally acted on it. "Take a taxi back yourself. Xiao Chuan and I have something to discuss." Qin Yu frowned, seemingly a little troubled. I nodded understandingly. "It's fine. Go ahead." Tian Chuan was impatient and urged her. "Sister, are you ready?" "I'm hungry." Qin Yu immediately left my side and went to him. "All right, I'll take you to a big meal right away." Her tone was gentle, as if coaxing a child. But Tian Chuan was no longer a child. He was only 3 months younger than me. A sour feeling slowly permeated my heart. I had loved her for 10 years and had never received such treatment. Tian Chuan had done nothing and easily obtained it. It was time to let go. Qin Yu was my high school classmate in the class next to mine. Because I liked her, I got into the same university as her. But she had someone else in her heart, so I could only choose to have a secret crush. It wasn't until her sweetheart married his girlfriend and settled abroad that she finally decided to give up on her first love and start going on blind dates to get married. I volunteered, frankly saying I wanted to be her husband. Qin Yu agreed, but requested a secret marriage. I thought that if we were together long enough, she would fall in love with me. Tian Chuan's return from abroad shattered my illusion. I ate something casually outside and returned to our cold home. I would have to stay here for another month, waiting for the cooling-off period before the divorce could be finalized. I suddenly felt a sense of torment. The once warm marital home had become a cage. I took down all our wedding photos and threw them in the downstairs dumpster. Qin Yu came back late at night, unusually happy, and brought me milk tea and cake. I frowned and quietly threw them in the trash. After 3 years of marriage, she still didn't know I hated sweets. No wonder. I used to happily accept whatever she bought me. Later, I learned that Tian Chuan liked sweets. She remembered his preferences. When we went to bed, she noticed something was missing from the room. "Where are the wedding photos?" she asked casually. I replied casually. They were damp and faded, so I took them to be repaired. Qin Yu said, "Oh," and fell asleep, a smile still lingering on her lips. She was so happy today, definitely not because of me. Besides, our marriage was beyond repair. In the middle of the night, Qin Yu sleepily snuggled into my arms. I subconsciously pushed her away, not wanting to be someone else's substitute. She woke up suddenly and looked at me reproachfully. "I'm rarely in the mood, and you're not willing?" Chapter 2. I made an excuse. "I'm not feeling well." Qin Yu became slightly nervous. "Is it serious? Is it your stomach again? Should I get you some medicine?" I waved my hand at her. "I've already taken medicine. I just need some rest." Hearing this, she seemed relieved and went back to sleep. I tossed and turned all night, unable to sleep. Before dawn, I was disturbed by the continuous vibration of a cell phone. Following the sound, my eyes landed on the nightstand. It was Qin Yu's phone ringing. Tian Chuan had sent her a series of messages. "Sister, every second with you is filled with happiness." Thank you for having dinner, watching movies, and going to the amusement park with me. In the future, we'll do many more things together and grow old together. Seeing these lovey-dovey messages, a sarcastic smile appeared on my lips. I could do all these things with her too, but every time I suggested them, she refused. Asking her to dinner, she'd say she was busy. Asking her to a movie, she'd say she wasn't interested. Asking her to an amusement park, she'd say it was childish. It turned out that it wasn't that she didn't have time for me, nor was it that she wasn't interested in these things, but rather that the person she wanted to be with wasn't me. Tian Chuan sent a barrage of messages, but none of them woke Qinyu up. So he simply called her. Qinyu answered the phone in a daze, subconsciously saying, "Chuan, what's wrong?" After saying that, she suddenly realized I was lying beside her, and her expression changed. The voice on the other end was loud. "Sister, I miss you, I can't sleep." Qinyu's face flushed, and she looked at me awkwardly. It was as if my presence was disturbing their flirting. I gave her a cold look and got out of bed. Qinyu's voice was panicked. "Xiao Chuan, I have something urgent. It's not convenient to chat right now." After saying that, she quickly hung up the phone and grabbed my arm. Nervously, she said, "Xiao Chuan is young and doesn't always speak carefully. Don't mind him." I shook off her hand. "If you two have so much to talk about, go ahead. I'll sleep in the guest room." Qinyu didn't expect me to be so generous and was stunned for a long time. I wasn't just being angry. We really didn't have anything in common. Qinyu was the CEO of a family business, and I was a doctor. In order to have common ground with her, I had taken business courses. Every time I brought up topics related to her industry, she would shut me down with one sentence. "You're a doctor. Don't talk about these things. You're too much of an outsider. You can't help me." To have more interaction with her, I persuaded the hospital director to collaborate with her company on pharmaceutical business. With a cooperative relationship, I could see her more often, but she wasn't happy to see me. Last week, when we signed the contract, she suggested, "After this project, let's not collaborate anymore." I asked, "Why?" She said self-righteously, "I don't want to have any dealings with you at work. Work and life should be separate." I immediately understood. She didn't want the people in her company to know about our relationship. Before leaving the house in the morning, she anxiously asked, "Can I see yesterday's cooperation agreement?" I haven't had time to carefully review the clauses. I immediately felt a sense of dread. Qinyu cared about appearances. Even if she didn't love me, she wouldn't want me to be the one to initiate a divorce. If she knew that what we signed yesterday was a divorce agreement, she might change her mind. "What's wrong? Is there a problem with the agreement?" Seeing my nervousness, Qinyu became even more determined to see it. I knew I couldn't hide it forever, so I decided to try and come clean. "There's no problem with the agreement. If you want to see it, go ahead. Just try not to get too excited." Chapter 3. After I finished speaking, I rummaged through the boxes and cabinets to find the divorce agreement. I brought it to her, my fingers trembling slightly. Just then her phone rang. I glanced at the caller ID. The contact name was L. "Look at the agreement before you answer the call. This agreement is important," I urged her. Qinyu ignored my suggestion and immediately answered the call. An anxious voice came from the receiver. "Sister, I'm in danger." Qinyu's face changed drastically, and she became tense. "What's wrong?" His voice was tinged with a sob. "I've been bitten by stray dogs. My leg is injured. Come and save me." Qinyu walked outwards while comforting him. "Stay where you are. Don't move. I'll bring someone to save you." I held the divorce agreement and couldn't help but retort. If it's really that dangerous, wouldn't calling emergency services be enough? Tian Chuan probably also realized that his reason for asking for help was too absurd, so he deliberately exaggerated the situation. "The dog's owner is a crazy woman. She's threatening me with a knife." Qinyu was heartbroken. "Don't worry, I'll be right there." After hanging up the phone, she looked back at me. "Xiao Chuan is in big trouble. I have to go save him." After saying that, she hurriedly left without waiting for my reaction. I put the divorce agreement back in the drawer and went back to the hospital for work. Qinyu brought Tian Chuan to the hospital for treatment, and I happened to run into them. Tian Chuan had one arm draped over her shoulder. Limping, Qinyu wrapped her arm around his waist and helped him into the examination room. The person who saw them wasn't me, but a colleague from the infectious diseases department. I came to get some materials and happened to see them enter. The two were as intimate as a young married couple. They were followed by a woman who kept praising their affectionate relationship. You two are so loving. The young man is so lucky. I told you that you didn't need to come. I could have taken him to the hospital myself. After all, it was my little dog that caused the trouble. This woman was probably the crazy dog owner that Tian Chuan had mentioned. Clearly, she was quite decent, but Tian Chuan, in order to see Qin Yu, didn't hesitate to slander her. Hearing the woman's praise, Qin Yu's cheeks flushed slightly, but she didn't bother to explain. I watched them coldly, but they were exchanging loving glances and didn't notice me. Until my colleague reminded me, Dr. Yin, have you found the materials? I nodded. I found them. Hearing my voice, Qin Yu suddenly looked up and saw me. She nervously removed her hand from Tian Chuan and questioned me. Why are you here? I said coldly. I work at this hospital, didn't you know? Qin Yu was speechless, a flicker of embarrassment crossing her face. I was also quite embarrassed. We'd been married for 3 years, and my wife didn't even know where I worked. Tian Chuan's expression was displeased when he saw me. He kept a dark face and said nothing. In his eyes, I was probably the unwelcome outsider. My colleague was a bit puzzled. Do you know each other? I watched Qin Yu's expression. She was very nervous. She was probably afraid that I would reveal our hidden marriage in front of Tian Chuan. I sneered and explained, We've worked together before. Qin Yu seemed relieved, but also showed a trace of guilt. Thinking we were acquaintances, my colleague quickly told me about the patient's condition. The patient is fine, just needs a couple of shots. Young people these days are so lucky. They have family members accompanying them to the doctor, even for a scrape. I nodded. That's good. Then, I looked at Qin Yu with a mocking gaze. Seeing how worried Ms. Qin was, I thought the patient's leg was broken. Seems like I worried for nothing. Tian Chuan's face was ugly, but he tried to maintain his composure. Thank you for your concern, brother. I took the materials and left quickly. Qin Yu suddenly chased after me. Yin Kong, are you jealous? Chapter 4. I looked back at her and asked, Do you think, given our relationship, I have the right to ask that? She murmured, I'm sorry. I pursed my lips, my face calm. I was about to tell her, It doesn't matter, we're getting divorced anyway. Unexpectedly, she suddenly said, I'll find an opportunity to make our relationship public. I wasn't mentally prepared to go public just now, don't mind me. That lady with the dog also misunderstood my relationship with my junior. I'll explain it to her later. After listening to her words, my heart was completely still, because I knew she definitely wouldn't do it. Don't force yourself. Let it be. After saying that, I turned and went back to my office. After work, I started packing my things at home. Anything related to Qin Yu, I threw into cardboard boxes, including souvenirs we bought on trips together, the matching outfit she bought for us on a whim, and the gifts we exchanged over the 3 years of our marriage. 10 years of love for a woman, the emotions were heavy. The old things piled up into several large boxes. I didn't finish packing until midnight. I was so tired that I fell asleep on the carpet. I woke up several times from the cold during the night, but I didn't see Qin Yu come back. I couldn't help but worry. Could something have happened? I took out my phone and called her. It went straight to voicemail. Bored, I scrolled through my WeChat moments. Suddenly, I saw Qin Yu in Tian Chuan's moments. They had moved from the hospital to a bar. The two were sitting close together, drinking and chatting. Qin Yu's back was to the camera, her slender figure particularly striking under the lights. Even just from her back, I could tell she was very happy. Of course, being with someone you like brings joy. With me, she was always so bored and lonely. No wonder she didn't come home all night. However, she would soon be free. After the divorce, she wouldn't have to hide her dates with Tian Chuan from me anymore. I would give her back her freedom. As dawn broke, I finally made up my mind. I would throw away all those boxes of old things. As I dragged the heavy boxes downstairs, I ran into Qin Yu coming home. Her complexion was rosy, and she didn't seem tired at all from staying up all night. Sure enough, she could only find happiness with other men. She walked towards me with a cheerful expression. even helping me carry a box. Why are you throwing away so many things? I suppressed the turmoil in my heart and said calmly, old things, just taking up space. Because she was in such a good mood. Chinyu suddenly became curious and opened the lid of the box. Seeing the box full of couple souvenirs, her face suddenly changed. Then she screamed hysterically, Yinkong, what are you doing? I had a hint of mockery on my face. She finally noticed something was wrong. Thank you, Chinyu. Chinyu, we've been married for 3 years. Have you ever cared about these things? I've been the one keeping them every year. What's the point of keeping them? The matching outfits have never been worn, and the souvenirs have been gathering dust in the drawers. Chinyu's face showed a trace of guilt. My fault. I've been too busy with work, and recently I've been busy helping my junior, who just returned to the country. I've neglected you. Tell you what, I'll take time off next week and go on a trip with you. I shook my head. No need, I don't have time next week. Then the week after, Chinyu's tone was a bit demanding, despite her usual gentle and demure appearance. In reality, when she was insistent, she was more stubborn than anyone. I sighed helplessly. Then let's make it next Wednesday. I would have to confront her sooner or later. Might as well find a suitable time to make things clear. Chapter 5. Seeing my compromise, Chinyu smiled with satisfaction. Don't be childish, be good. Hearing such a gentle tone, I was in a daze. Married for 3 years, she was used to being polite and distant towards me. What was she playing at now? She called the driver and assistant and had them carry the large cardboard boxes of old belongings upstairs. Chinyu's unusual behavior gave me a false impression. It seemed she didn't want to separate from me. If so, why did she provoke Tian Chuan? As we entered the elevator, I tried to ask her directly. You last? Before I could finish, Chinyu started to explain anxiously. Xiao Chuan and I are nothing. I just treat him like a younger brother. He was frightened last night, so I stayed with him. Once he adapts to life back home, I won't bother with him anymore. Then I'll have more time to spend with you. Hearing her explanations and promises, I couldn't bring myself to press further. She hadn't seen the divorce agreement yet. If she was willing to turn back, I could pretend nothing had happened. I'd wait and see. I hoped Chinyu would keep her word. The next day, just as I was about to leave work, a classmate in our alumni group invited everyone to a wedding. The classmate was Chinyu's best friend, and she specifically tagged Chinyu. Must bring a date. Everyone else chimed in, urging Chinyu to bring a boyfriend, not just a regular friend. Chinyu replied solemnly, Mission accepted. Tonight, I'll bring my other half to my bestie's wedding. I was instantly overjoyed. Wasn't her other half me? Was Chinyu finally going to reveal my identity? After 3 years of hidden marriage, this joyous outcome had finally arrived. Why would I want a divorce now? I needed to rush home and tear up the divorce agreement. Grinning from ear to ear, I entered the house. Chinyu was already dressed to the nines in a purple gown, ready to go out. Wait for me. I hurried into the dressing room and chose a suit. This was the suit I wore on our wedding day. Although it was a secret marriage, only our parents had sat down for a meal. But that day was the most important day of my life. So, I wore my best suit. Today, the day Chinyu would reveal my identity, was just as important as our wedding day. Humming a tune, I exited the dressing room. Chinyu was waiting impatiently in the hall, having urged me several times. When she saw me in this attire, she was surprised. After a moment, she recovered. Are you planning to attend my friend's wedding? I nodded. If I don't go, who will be your date? A flicker of guilt crossed Chinyu's face, and her words became hesitant. Yinkong, that was just a joke between classmates. You don't have to take it seriously. I'm not planning to bring a date today. You've worked hard all day. You should rest at home. I'll be back soon. Hearing her say this, my mood plummeted from its peak. In the end, she still wasn't planning to reveal my identity as her hidden husband. In that case, I couldn't delude myself. Fine, whatever makes you happy. I dropped that line and went back into the dressing room, taking off the suit. Glancing at the divorce agreement in the drawer, I was glad I hadn't impulsively torn it up. The sound of a car starting came from downstairs. The radiant Chinyu was getting further and further away from me. I started slowly packing my things. I couldn't delay any longer. 10 years, and this relationship held no hope. Halfway through packing, Dr. Zhang suddenly called. He said there was an emergency at the Four Seasons Hotel, and I needed to go immediately. Chapter 6. I left without a word. Arriving at the hotel, my colleague and I lifted the injured person onto the ambulance. As we were about to leave, I suddenly saw Qin Yu. She was being led by the hand by Tian Xuan, emerging from the hotel. They looked like a perfect match, a celestial couple. I suddenly understood why she was unwilling to bring me to the wedding today. In her heart, Tian Xuan was her true partner. The ambulance quickly left the hotel. I immersed myself in the intense rescue work, putting personal matters aside. By the time I was finished, it was already 2:00 a.m. Returning from the hospital, I took a hot shower. Qin Yu hadn't returned yet. Suddenly, I felt indifferent. It didn't matter whether she was here or not. I slept soundly. Waking up in the morning, I discovered Qin Yu had sent me a message in the middle of the night. She said she was staying with a friend and wouldn't be home tonight. I sneered inwardly. That friend was probably Tian Xuan again. Habitually, I checked Tian Xuan's social media. Sure enough, he was indirectly showing off their affection again. This time, he posted a side profile of Qin Yu. Although they weren't alone, and there were other friends present, they were holding hands, clearly a loving couple. In the video, her friends were teasing them, urging them to get married on the spot. Although Qin Yu didn't agree to anything, she was smiling happily. Since that was the case, what did I have to hold on to? I bought an apartment near the hospital and moved in. Every time I went to work, I brought some of my belongings over. As for the home I shared with Qin Yu, I wouldn't stay any longer than necessary to retrieve my things. Since she was often out anyway, she wouldn't notice anything unusual. Wednesday soon arrived. I messaged her. "Have you decided where to go for our trip?" She replied instantly. "What trip? I'm so busy. I don't have time for a trip." I sent her a smiling emoji and fell silent. Sure enough, she had forgotten the promise she made to me. After a long time, she seemed to remember the agreement. She sent another message to explain. "Sorry, Yin Kong. I'm not free on Wednesday. Let's go next week. I'll push back some work next week and focus on spending time with you." I replied, "No need. Your time is precious." Qin Yu thought I was sulking and sent a few more messages to comfort me. For several days, I lived in my own apartment. Qin Yu didn't notice because she simply didn't come home. There were only 20 days left in the cooling-off period for our divorce. Suddenly, she sent a message. "I have to go abroad on a business trip for half a month." I only replied with one word. "Okay." I unintentionally clicked on Qin Yu's social media and saw her latest post. She posted a solo photo of herself at the airport. However, in the corner of the photo, a pair of men's leather shoes was visible. I immediately realized she wasn't traveling alone. Those shoes gave me a sense of familiarity, as if I'd seen them somewhere before. While driving back to the hospital, I kept thinking about those men's leather shoes. Distracted, I was rear-ended by the car in front of me. Following a loud bang, I felt a sharp pain in my leg. The car door was deformed, the glass shattered. A piece of glass had pierced the artery in my leg, and blood gushed out. I quickly calmed myself down, applying pressure to stop the bleeding while dialing emergency services. While waiting for help, I lost consciousness. When I woke up again, I was in the hospital, and it was the hospital where I worked. Dr. Zhang fearfully told me that I had lost a lot of blood and that any later rescue would have been dangerous. Fortunately, I was a doctor myself and knew first aid. According to regulations, I needed surgery, which required a family member's signature. My parents back home were elderly and had limited mobility. It would be too much trouble for them to come. So, I called Qin Yu. Chapter 7. Her phone was off. Actually, I'd seen her ticket. Her destination was in a neighboring country, a 2 or 3 hour flight. There's no time difference. Helplessly, I spread my hands and said to Dr. Zhang, "Could you sign for me? A friend's signature is fine too." Dr. Zhang looked puzzled. "Don't you have a wife? A secret marriage, wasn't it?" She continued. "How can it be that you're in critical condition and can't reach her?" I explained. "She's abroad on a business trip. She can't come back right away. Besides, we're getting divorced. We've signed the agreement and are in the cooling-off period." Dr. Zhang sighed. Divorce is the right choice. You're in a car accident and can't even contact her. She signed the surgery consent form. The surgery went well, but I needed to stay in bed for at least half a month to recover. During this time, I tried to contact Yu. Still couldn't reach her. I had to hire a caregiver. On the 10th day in the hospital, bored, I scrolled through my WeChat moments. I found Tian Chuan updating his travel photos in real time. Every new scenic spot, a new photo. There was always a woman's back in the pictures. I recognized it at a glance. Yu. So for the past 2 weeks, she hadn't been on a business trip, but traveling with Tian Chuan. In Tian Chuan's photos, I found the men's leather shoes from Yu's pictures. I wasn't imagining things. She had been with Tian Chuan for these 10 days. Scrolling down, I accidentally liked one of Tian Chuan's posts. As I tried to undo it, I noticed Yu had also liked it. Yu quickly realized something and immediately messaged me with an explanation. I ran into Xiao Chuan during my business trip, and we toured the local sites together. Don't misunderstand, there's nothing between us. By the way, how did you get his WeChat? My heart turned to ice. How did I get Tian Chuan's WeChat? From the alumni group, of course. She wouldn't have forgotten that the three of us went to the same university, would she? Right. She only had eyes for Tian Chuan. How could she notice me? I replied casually, it's not important. As long as you're happy. Yu replied instantly, I'll fly back to be with you as soon as I'm done. I refused. No need. Focus on your work. 5 minutes later, she sent me a message with a picture of her ticket. Already booked. I'll be back with you in 3 hours. When she came to visit me at the hospital, she brought Tian Chuan. They dragged their luggage into the hospital, Tian Chuan waiting outside the ward. They looked like a couple visiting a distant acquaintance. Walking to my bedside, she immediately started scolding me. Why didn't you contact me after the accident? I was just on a business trip in the neighboring country. It only takes a few hours to come back. I gave a bitter smile, wanting to say her phone was off, that I couldn't reach her. Then I reconsidered. What was the point of explaining? Didn't she know whether her phone was off or not? During the 10 days she was gone, preoccupied with traveling with someone else, did she ever think of me? Did she ever try to contact me once? I didn't want to bother you since you were busy, I said politely, offering the excuse she probably wanted. We're husband and wife, what bother? Yu said, her eyes already glancing towards the door. Tian Chuan was standing there, craning his neck, waiting for her. If you have something to do, go ahead and take care of it, I urged. What was the use of keeping someone here whose heart wasn't in it? Chapter 8. Yu looked at me with a bit of guilt. When are you being discharged? I'll come pick you up. I refused. 5 days. Don't bother, I can manage on my own. Yu's tone was commanding. No way. I have to come pick you up. I had to agree. Fine. Arguing with her was pointless. Whether I agreed or not, she wouldn't come. Yu, looking satisfied, left without a backward glance. 5 days later, I was discharged. I routinely called her. I'm out of the hospital. Are you free to come over? Yu hesitated, seemingly having completely forgotten about it. I quickly smoothed things over. If you're not free, don't worry about it. I've recovered anyway. Yu breathed a sigh of relief. I'm so sorry, Yin Kong. I really can't get away right now. I have to work overtime. It's okay. I calmly hung up the phone. I opened my WeChat moments and saw Tian Chuan's latest photos. It was a picture of a group of friends celebrating his birthday, with Yu standing in the middle, close to him. Thank you, sis, for throwing me a birthday party. Love you. Thanks everyone for coming. Love you all. I understood instantly. Yu had gone to Tian Chuan's birthday party, not to work overtime. She lied again. This time, I moved all my belongings from Yu's house to my own place. Although this marital home was our joint property, I had allocated it to her in the divorce agreement. After making sure there was no trace of me left in the house, I left, satisfied. I even took the liberty of throwing away all the couple's mementos stored in the utility room. Yu wouldn't care about these things anyway, so why should I listen to her and keep them? Uncharacteristically, Yu came home that night. Drunk, she called me. Why aren't you home? I want a hangover soup you make. I calmly spoke on the phone while organizing my new apartment. Have your assistant order some for you. I'm not coming back. Chinyu seemed to realize something, her voice becoming tense. What do you mean? Where else could you go if you're not coming home? Isai, you don't need to worry about that. Just live your own life. Chinyu suddenly lost her temper. Are you throwing a tantrum? Just because I went to Tian Chuan's birthday party today. I sneered. So you knew I knew. Were you deliberately provoking me? Or do you think I'm a fool? Chinyu explained self-righteously. I thought you wouldn't care. He's just a younger brother. For 3 years of marriage, you've never cared about me. I think we have no feelings for each other, and we should be free to come and go as we please. Calmly, I apologized to her. I'm sorry you misunderstood me so much. You wanted to come and go as you please doesn't mean I can accept it. Since you like freedom, I can let you go. We can each find our own path. After saying that, I hung up the phone. Chinyu was furious. Her messages kept coming. Why did you move all your things out? Are you trying to separate from me? Is it because I didn't pick you up from the hospital today and went to Tian Chuan's birthday party? Or is it because I didn't take you on vacation, but went with Tian Chuan? Are you jealous? Let's go on a trip together in 5 days and work on our relationship. If you don't like me being with Tian Chuan, I'll keep my distance from him. I set her messages to Do Not Disturb. Chapter 9. She started frantically calling me again. Yin Kong, explain yourself. What do you want? Let's break up. Chinyu, I'm tired. Since you haven't fallen in love with me, let's separate. This time, I finally had the courage to make things clear. Chinyu suddenly cried. I don't want to break up with you. I'm used to you being there. I laughed. How many days have you been home since we got married? How many meals have we eaten together? You're not used to my presence. You're just not reconciled to me initiating the breakup. Then I'll give you a chance. You initiate the breakup, and I'll passively accept it. Chinyu cried even harder. I can make it up to you, can't I? Let's try again. Give me a little more time. Friday. Let's go on a trip to cultivate our feelings. You're a good person. I don't want to give up. Friday happened to be the last day of the cooling-off period for divorce. This relationship needed closure. I calmly agreed to her invitation. Friday, let's go watch the sunrise at the beach. I hope you won't break your promise this time. We watched the sunset at the beach on our wedding day. If we watch the sunset at the beach on the day of our divorce, this relationship will have a proper beginning and end. Finally, that day arrived. I put on the dress I wore on my wedding day and set off for the beach early. This time, I didn't remind Chinyu. If she remembered her promise, she would come. If she didn't, then we'd go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get divorced. A relationship can have a beginning, but it doesn't necessarily need an end. I kept checking my watch at the beach, waiting for an hour. Still didn't see her. Since she wasn't coming, I'd watch the sunrise by myself. Seeing the red sun slowly rising over the sea, hope ignited in my heart. Living alone in the future wouldn't be so scary. It was better to cherish myself than to linger in an unseen, unappreciated relationship. No regrets about the past. No fear of the future. I took out my phone, preparing to capture this beautiful scene. At that moment, a familiar figure stood within my camera frame. Yin Kong, let's work things out. Let's slowly cultivate our feelings. Chinyu took my arm, her tone gentle. I subtly shook her off. We've been cultivating for 3 years, and you still have no feelings for me. I don't want to wait hopelessly any longer. Chinyu, let's break up. I took out the divorce agreement and threw it into her arms. Take a look. This is the divorce property division agreement you signed a month ago. You didn't look at it carefully then. Now you can take a good look. If there's no problem, we'll go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get the divorce certificate. Chinyu held the divorce agreement, her eyes wide. You wanted to divorce me a month ago? I shook my head. The cracks have been forming for a long time. I had this thought since the day we returned from Tianchuan. Chinyu exclaimed. That was half a year ago. Why didn't you tell me? I smiled bitterly. Would it have been useful to tell you? Would you have believed me? Would the outcome have changed? Chinyu suddenly knelt down, clutching my leg with trembling hands. Please don't divorce me. I only realized at this moment, the person I love is you. I'm afraid of you leaving. I fell in love with you, but I didn't know it. I pushed her hands away, remembering the countless show-off my love posts Tianchuan had made on her moments. If treating me like this is love, then what about Tianchuan? was treating him like that hate. Chapter 10. Yu sobbed uncontrollably, explaining in a broken voice. I thought, at the time, that I still loved Chuan. I tried so hard to be good to him. But, after 6 months, I slowly realized I didn't love him anymore. I kept suspecting I was in love with you, but I wasn't sure. Until this moment, I can finally confirm my feelings. I love you. Please give me another chance. I remained unmoved, silently watching her cry and plead. Until her phone rang. It was Chuan. A mocking sneer curled my lips. Yu looked at me in panic. I won't answer it. But I said, answer it. What if it's something urgent? Yu answered the call almost without hesitation. When she hung up, she looked distraught. Sorry, Yin Kong. Chuan was in a car accident. I have to go back. I waved my hand indifferently. Go ahead. Goodbye. Yu looked at me worriedly, but ultimately hurried away. That same day, I hired a lawyer and filed for divorce. Chuan really had been in a car accident and had broken his leg. Yu took care of him in the hospital for a month. By the time Chuan was discharged, Yu received the divorce decree. During that month, she refused to communicate with my lawyer about the divorce. She was even more unwilling to attend the divorce hearing. The court had no choice but to issue a default judgment. The reason my divorce went so smoothly was thanks to Chuan constantly showing off their love. That evidence of their public displays of affection was also proof of Yu's 6-month affair. After the divorce, Yu waited for me every day at the hospital entrance. She said she didn't accept the divorce and begged me to reconcile. I avoided her for several days, hoping she would get the hint and stop bothering me. Unexpectedly, she was incredibly persistent, even showing up at my office to confront me. This completely infuriated me, and I no longer wanted to give her any face. Ms. Chin, we're divorced. If you keep bothering me, don't blame me for being ruthless. You shamelessly tugged at me. Yin Kong, I know your secret. You've had a crush on me for 7 years. After we got married, you loved me for another 3 years. I don't believe you can let go of a woman you loved for 10 years. Remarry me? I know you still love me. I coldly shook her off. Don't be so conceited. You had an affair with Chuan for 6 months. Even if I still loved you, do you think I could tolerate that? Besides, I don't love you anymore. Yu was instantly furious. Why would you say these things in front of so many people? I sneered. You can bother me and disrupt my work and life in front of so many people. Why should I cover for you? If you really care about your reputation, leave me alone. Otherwise, I don't mind spreading your affair with Chuan online and letting more people know. Yu, always concerned about her image, panicked when she heard this. Still unwilling to give up, she demanded an answer. Yin Kong, when did you stop loving me? And when did you start hating me? To make her give up, I told her the truth. The moment you chose to take care of Chuan on the last day of the cooling-off period, I stopped loving you completely. As for hating you, that started after the divorce when you continued to harass me. Yu, don't be too greedy. If you can't let go of Chuan, don't even think about being with me. Yu pressed. So, if I had let go of Chuan that day, you would have still given me a chance? I nodded, knowing this answer would break her heart. Yes, until the very last day, I was willing to give you a chance. It's a pity you missed it. Yu crouched on the ground, wailing. I really regret missing you that day. Can you give me another chance? I've completely let go of Chuan. I've sent him abroad. I'll never see him again. I scoffed. Impossible. Even if you see me suffering in regret for the rest of my life, you won't turn back. Yu asked, scratching her partially gray hair, her face haggard. I knew she truly regretted it. In just a few days after the divorce, she seemed to have aged 20 years. However, I still firmly said, absolutely not.